Turn the beat around. Love to hear percussion. Turn it upside down. Foist it on its own petard. Make an example for the others. Welcome to Night Vale. A Freilichen Purim listeners, and a Purim Sameach to our watchers. Yes, it's Purim in Night Vale, and everyone has turned out for the annual Megillah reading and Purim Carnival at the Night Vale Grand Synagogue on Main Street. I'm here too. Come by the Night Vale Community Radio booth and get your picture taken with me and intern Yehoshua. Pictures are free of charge, and you will need to bring your own 9-volt battery or manual generator. Throughout the evening, we'll be sharing words of Torah written by students at the Night Vale Yeshiva High School. The author of the best of our Torah will receive a $36 gift certificate to Big Rico's Pizza, which he will then donate to the local food bank because Big Rico's kashrut level is not Mahadran. Nobody does a slice in sushi like Big Rico. Nobody. The carnival will continue until 8:30, at which point we'll all go to the main sanctuary for Marav services and Megillah. I hope you remembered your groggers, Night Vale. Last year there were classic spinning groggers, clappers, good old rocks banged together, and Ferrero Rocher. The Gabbai has asked me to inform everyone that the smooth, fist-sized river rock up on the bima is not to be used, because that is Sarah Sultan, president of the Night Vale Community College. Sarah will be using telepathy to suppress our motor control and speech centers during the reading in order to ensure that there will be no noise, except after the Balkoreh reads the name Haman. Let's take a look at our first of our Torah from 11th grader Daniel Rubin. Daniel writes, Megillas Esther begins with the words, Vayhi bimei Achashverosh hu Achashverosh. The Talmud relates in Megillah 11 that the phrase Achashverosh, who was Achashverosh, was written to teach us that Emperor Achashverosh was the same at the beginning of the story as he was at the end of the story. In the high school Geniza, the tomb for religious texts, I discovered a notebook that belonged to none other than Ovadia Flynn, the Night Vale Gaon, when he was a student decades ago. Just an aside, listeners, Rav Ovadia Zatzal was councilwoman to Mika Flynn's great-grandfather. The Gaon wrote that Achashverosh was the same before and after the Purim story, and indeed is always the same. Though his name changes, he was Achashverosh before Shlomo built the first temple, and he was Achashverosh after the Romans destroyed the second temple. He was Achashverosh before Hashem liberated us from Egypt, and he was Achashverosh after Queen Isabella exiled us from Spain. He was Achashverosh in Babylon, and he was Achashverosh in Night Vale. And, Hamavin Yavin, he was 30 years old and a day. Thank you, Daniel. Very insightful. It looks like the Purim Carnival costume pageant is now underway. Hundreds of Night Vale citizens have elected to participate this year. Sorry, that's selected. Hundreds of Night Vale citizens have been selected to participate this year. Anyone not selected by the sheriff's secret police are strictly prohibited from wearing a costume under penalty of stewing. That's all it says here, listeners. Anyway, I'm wearing a traditional skin-tight red mask with large mirrored eyes over a red and blue shirt, blue pants, and red gloves and boots. Of course, there's a festive black webbing over the whole ensemble. I was disappointed about not being selected this year, but this is just like the suit I got for graduation, and I'm a real sucker for nostalgia. The pageant combatants are all coming out onto the stage now. They're forming up in their designated units, brandishing swords, spears, and tubes of lipstick at one another. No single unit willing to make the first foray into what will quickly become a veritable bloodbath. We'll check in with them a little later. Oh, there goes long-time Night Vale citizen Sigrid Borg. Hi, Sigrid. It's always a pleasure to see Sigrid, and has been for years, despite her relatively recent arrival in Night Vale. You may remember, listeners, that Sigrid is part of a witness protection program, and has fictionally been part of our lives for years and years. Does that make her any less a part of our community, though? Is her truthful absence from the shared fiction we call reality significantly different from her falsified presence in the truth we have chosen to call a life? No. Not according to the vague yet menacing government agency that has overseen her placement with us, and not according to the sheriff's secret police, who have ruled that a government-created identity is no more a costume than anyone else's government-created identity. More importantly, said Sheriff Sam in a statement they made while I was trying to take a shower, we don't even know whom to arrest. We can't arrest people's costumes. They don't feel any pain. I stopped paying attention at this point, listeners, because I had finally gotten all the rust out of my steel wool and started exfoliating. The point is, Sigrid is here with us, frantically wrestling with intern Yehoshua in what I imagine is classic Swedish celebratory style, and we're happy she is. Chag Sameach, Sigrid. And now, traffic. 8 pomegranates, 7 grains of barley, 6 olives, 5 grapes, 4 kernels of wheat, 3 packages of wheat byproducts, 2 dates, 1 fig, 0 regrets, -1 day, -2 relationships, -3 memories, -4 infection, healthy, hearty, hale, and horrible, exchanging life for experience moment by moment. Where does the time go? When does the time stay? How does the time taste? This has been Traffic. The pageant is now well underway, listeners. Leanne Hart, editor at the Night Vale Daily Journal, has come dressed as departed, embarrassing town hero, the Apache Tracker. She chose this costume in order to accommodate her hatchets, in keeping with the sheriff's strict costume rules. Hart is wearing faux animal skins and a cartoonish headdress. While the Apache Tracker may have been a racist blotch on our town, Leanne's costume choice is much worse. She was a respected member of our community until now, and she should know better. I suppose, when faced with as terrible a thing as a costume pageant, people make rash decisions. Listeners, I will be writing a very strongly worded letter to Leanne, care of the Daily Journal, if she survives.